Yeah, it's a new album. It's kind of deliberate from the Ordo at Geo, the last record. It has some kind of connection, however, it's still a different stuff. I was inspired by this post-Second War, Cold War era, and that kind of experiments I read about, these mind experiments and mind control experiments and this secret stuff, and it's many times that's why I pick these things up, because it's always involved in some ritualistic, spiritual aspect and stuff like that. So that was my main inspiration behind the text. And this is, in a way, it's a war. It's, the Grand Declaration of War album was already about war, Mayhem. So it's our kind of constant theme, this spiritual war, which is like the esoteric warfare is about. It's of course represents us in 2014, like Mayhem. We are still on this inverted crusade on our esoteric warfare, but also it refers on I mentioned this mind control thing is very interesting for me, because I realized that and that was after the Second War too, and there's a lot of experiments about it, like how to control people's mind. Actually, it turned out our mind is so much more complex, and if you can control somebody's mind, then you don't need weapons, really, especially if that person doesn't know that he's being controlled, and that's what it is about. And and it's actually, there are these techniques with like this archetype symbolism and hypnosis and all this stuff which can affect our brain without like even perceiving or recognizing that someone is manipulating. So that's the whole idea, and that's the esoteric warfare, and like this subconscious manipulation, and that's I think that's also religion kind of planted us, these seeds of fears and stuff, so we are on a war against that, and I don't know, but the whole thing for me, this esoteric warfare means it's like a spiritual warfare. It's more like in the mind fields. It's not, like music itself. I mean, music I think is a weapon in a way, like, but it's a very advised or civilized too, actually. But in a way it is, because if you make a good song and good lyrics, kids gonna listen.
Yeah,
and it will change people's way of perspective, So in a way, that's an esoteric weapon,
That's true.
So Mayhem is an esoteric weapon, and we are in this warfare. Like I told you, I was very fascinated by this, the paperclips project, when they took all these Second War sciences and they kept going on with these fucked up experiments, and I heard about this other, they use like drugs and try to blank people's mind, and reprogram a new personality and stuff like that. So that's those things when I read about, or this guy Edmund Cameron who electroshocked so many victims. People didn't know about it, they went to the hospital that they felt sick, they drugged them out and used them for experiments, and I think it's just fucked up theories, but maybe some is true.
Yeah, it's true.
Anyway, Mayhem is always a surrealistic piece of thing, so I kind of hope that half of it it's not true. But it's not coming from me, it's these lyrics are kind of, it's personal because I was into it and stuff, but still based on some kind of researches or some of our common reality, so it's not just my surrealistic vision.
Okay.
Yeah, in a way, that's one of the reasons I don't listen too much extreme metal, especially when we make a new album. You know, I'm trying to isolate myself, and actually I dig myself completely into these themes. So, and for me, it's a very. I mean, we've been working with Morten, you know, on the music, and he pretty much defined the song, and he had this vision, and I always like when it comes from one focus point, you know, but when I figure out like when I had this vision, what this whole thing should be about, I dig myself in it, and it was really painful actually. I felt mind controlled, I felt everything, I went through all the shit actually. It was, yeah, when the others were recording, and I didn't take any drugs actually, or not really, so to say. So it was not about that. We're in the studio, and yeah, it was not a drug effect or anything. But the guys were recording, and I was like totally in my mind, like walking in circles and talking to myself, and disappeared in the forest for like hours. And then the others asked me like if I was okay, you know. But I was just like thinking, you know, and just feeling this thing, and like it's sometimes really painful too, you know, because I like to melt myself into the topics, you know, at least for that period. So of course, a girlfriend freaked out. What's up with me? You know, it's kind of weird period when you write, because it's so dark. I really have to dig myself in its darkest things, you know, and every day and always being in that. So it was kind of challenging, but it's what happened basically, that we were looking for artists. We had another guy already, but we were like when I heard about Zbigniew, you know, he's an architect, and I really like that. Actually, I have an engineer degree, but it doesn't matter. But he is like, and for this music, I had this vision of having this kind of like a top secret document from the 50s, or some kind of like an old folder, you know, which like that kind of vision. And these plans, you know, these secret old plans and shit. So that was somehow a vision, and I talked to him and explained to him, and he sent some sketches and stuff, and he looked very promising already, and we talked a lot about the record, so I gave him a full understanding, you know, and of all what is it about, but then we gave him a free hand, you know, freedom. So of course I told him here or there, you know, and we went deep into the details of each song, like what is it about more or less, but then it was his ideas, how to put them in this visual. It's gonna look really cool, because every song will have a different drawing. So it's not just one artwork. So for collectors, I think it's gonna be a great. I think they do that, and I hope I can get one. But it might be very beautiful, you know. This time I think it's really worth to hound down these limited editions, because this artwork is really particular, really beautiful. He put a lot of work, and we put a lot of effort. So I think it's also cool to give a little bit more to the people, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it's a nice piece of art. You have these nice drawings, and think on this limited edition, you can. I think this is gonna be like small posters there, or I don't know.